January 6, 2021, a day that etched itself into the annals of American history. On this winter day, the world watched as the US Capitol, a symbol of democracy, was stormed by a mob. This riot, unprecedented in modern times, was the culmination of a volatile political climate that had been brewing for months. In the lead-up to the riot, tensions were high. The presidential election had concluded, and while the majority accepted the results, a substantial faction disputed them. Claims of election fraud were rampant, propagated by a myriad of sources, from social media platforms to the very top of the political hierarchy. Despite multiple court rulings and state certifications affirming the results, the belief in a stolen election persisted. The riot itself was a shocking display of anger and discontent. Thousands of protesters converged on the Capitol, breaching its historic walls and causing a lockdown. The scenes of chaos that unfolded were broadcasted worldwide, leaving an indelible mark on the global perception of American democracy. In the immediate aftermath, the riot was widely condemned. Law enforcement agencies swung into action, and the quest for accountability began. Hundreds of individuals were identified, arrested, and charged, their actions scrutinized in courts of law. Yet, as the dust settled, a wave of conspiracy theories began to rise. These theories, propagated by various factions, sought to reinterpret the events of that fateful day. One such theory, which has gained significant traction, posits that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, was not just a passive observer, but an active instigator of the riot. The belief in this theory is not confined to the fringes. A recent poll conducted by the Washington Post and the University of Maryland revealed that a surprising percentage of Americans, cutting across political lines, believe in this theory. In the wake of these events, a variety of conspiracy theories have emerged. This video aims to delve into these beliefs, their origins, and their implications. As we navigate this complex web of misinformation and belief, we invite you to join us in this exploration of a riot to remember and the conspiracy theories it birthed. In the confusion and chaos that followed the riot, rumors and conspiracy theories began to take shape. A cacophony of whispers in the digital world started to coalesce into distinct narratives, each more intriguing than the last. Among these, one theory stood out, capturing the imagination of a significant portion of the American populace. The theory that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, was not a mere observer or responder, but an instigator of the Capitol riot. This theory, like many conspiracy theories, had a certain allure. It provided an alternative explanation, a way to make sense of the senseless. It suggested that the events of January 6th were not a spontaneous eruption of anger, but a carefully orchestrated plot by clandestine forces within the government. How did such a theory come about? It's hard to pinpoint exactly, but it likely began as a seed of doubt, planted in the fertile soil of online discussion forums and social media platforms. From there, it grew, fed by speculation, misinformation, and a deep-seated distrust of government institutions. But why would people believe such a theory? The answer lies in our innate human tendency to seek patterns and make connections, even where none exist. This cognitive bias, known as patternicity, can lead us to see conspiracies in random events. It's as old as humanity itself, but in the modern world, with its relentless onslaught of information, it's more powerful than ever. Moreover, the belief in this particular conspiracy theory may also be fueled by political polarization. In a time when the divide between right and left seems wider than ever, it's not uncommon for people to latch onto narratives that support their pre-existing beliefs and biases, rejecting any information that contradicts them. A recent Washington Post University of Maryland poll provides some intriguing insights into these beliefs. It reveals that a substantial number of Americans across political lines believe that the FBI played a role in instigating the Capitol riot. In the next scene, we'll delve deeper into these findings and what they mean for the state of our democracy. The poll results reveal a surprising number of Americans hold beliefs in line with these conspiracy theories. A recent Washington Post University of Maryland poll has dived deep into this topic, striving to gauge the public's perspective on the events of that fateful day. The findings? They are as intriguing as they are alarming. A significant portion of the American population, it seems, subscribes to the theory that the FBI was involved in instigating the Capitol riot. Yes, you heard that right. The very institution entrusted with upholding law and order, some believe, was behind the chaos. To put it in perspective, about 3 in 10 Americans believe in this conspiracy theory. That's nearly 1/3 of the population. Among these, a startling number are Republicans, with a smaller yet substantial portion of independents sharing the same belief. Democrats, on the other hand, largely reject this notion. What's more, the poll shows that these beliefs are not confined to any one age group, educational level, or region. They are widespread, cutting across various demographic lines. This suggests that the reach of such conspiracy theories is broad and pervasive, making them a formidable challenge to counter. But what's truly disconcerting is the level of conviction among believers. Many of those who subscribe to these theories express a high degree of certainty, not swayed by counter-arguments or fact-checking. Notably, the poll also reveals a correlation between media consumption and belief in these theories. Those who regularly consume certain types of media, particularly media outlets known for disseminating misinformation, are more likely to believe in the FBI's alleged involvement. The numbers paint a vivid picture, but they also raise a multitude of questions. What is driving these beliefs? Why do so many Americans, despite the lack of concrete evidence, believe in the FBI's involvement? And perhaps most importantly, why do these beliefs persist despite numerous debunkings and clarifications? The answers to these questions are complex and multifaceted, intertwining with larger issues of trust, misinformation, and political polarization. But one thing is clear: understanding these dynamics is key to addressing the spread of such conspiracy theories. What fuels these beliefs, and why do they persist? These are the questions we must grapple with as we delve deeper into this topic. Misinformation, once unleashed, can be difficult to contain. It's like a wildfire, rapidly spreading and leaving a trail of confusion and mistrust in its wake. And when it comes to the conspiracy theories about the FBI's involvement in the January 6th Capitol riot, misinformation has played a significant role. Why? Well, misinformation thrives in an environment of uncertainty and fear. It seeks out gaps in our understanding and fills them with narratives that may seem plausible, but often lack rigorous scrutiny or evidence. The aftermath of the Capitol riot was a fertile ground for such narratives, with many questions unanswered and emotions running high. Now, let's consider the role of social media in this. Social media platforms, with their algorithms designed to keep us engaged, often amplify the most sensational, emotionally charged content. This can include conspiracy theories, which are often more attention-grabbing than nuanced explanations or dry fact checks. As a result, misinformation can quickly spread, reaching audiences far beyond its point of origin. But it's not just social media. Partisan news outlets too can contribute to the spread of misinformation. In an era where many news organizations are catering to specific political ideologies, objectivity can sometimes take a back seat. When these outlets push narratives that align with their audience's pre-existing beliefs, it can reinforce misinformation, making it harder to debunk. Misinformation also feeds into and reinforces political polarization. When we're locked into our ideological echo chambers, we're less likely to question information that confirms our biases, and more likely to dismiss information that challenges them. This makes the task of combating misinformation even more daunting. Ultimately, misinformation is not just about false information. It's about the erosion of our shared reality, our ability to engage in constructive dialogue, and our trust in institutions. It's a threat to critical thinking, encouraging us to accept information at face value rather than questioning its source, its context, and its validity. Misinformation is more than just false information. It's a threat to critical thinking. In a world filled with misinformation, critical thinking is our best defense. It's the flashlight we wield in a dark room full of unknowns, the key that unlocks the door to understanding. When the airwaves buzz with conspiracy theories, like those surrounding the January 6th Capitol riot, it is this skill that empowers us to separate fact from fiction. Critical thinking is not just about questioning, it's about asking the right questions. Who benefits from this information? What is the source? Is there evidence to support the claim? These are the queries that lead us down the path of truth, away from the shadows of misinformation. Consider the conspiracy theories about the FBI's involvement in the Capitol riot. These claims didn't just sprout out of thin air, they were carefully crafted and spread, often by those with vested interests. But when we scrutinize these theories with a critical eye, asking those key questions, the illusion begins to crumble. We see the lack of concrete evidence, the inconsistencies, the manipulation. Critical thinking also involves recognizing our own biases. We all have them. They're part of being human. But when they cloud our judgment, they can lead us to accept falsehoods as truth, particularly when those falsehoods align with our existing beliefs. By acknowledging our biases and challenging them, we can see beyond the veil of misinformation to the reality beneath. And let's not forget about the power of dialogue. Engaging in conversations with others, particularly those with differing viewpoints, can broaden our perspectives and sharpen our critical thinking skills. It's through this exchange of ideas, this meeting of minds, that we can collectively navigate the complex landscape of truth and misinformation. Remember, the truth often lies not in what is said, but in what is left unsaid. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and most importantly, stay informed. In the face of misinformation, critical thinking is not just our shield, but our sword. It's our tool to cut through the noise and uncover the truth.